and huge thanks to Alex for supporting me in doing this. And it's been, we're really getting some good feedback on emails, some good questions about topics and everything like that. Interesting. I finish off with a thought for the day as well. It's something reasonably positive for people to think about. So that's the purpose of these 50 videos, a little bit of both, but mostly animal health. And if I had one topic that I absolutely love, it's colostrum management. You would not build a house without a foundation. Colostrum management is the foundation of good farm animal health. Humans get their antibodies transplacentally in the womb, but ruminant animals like lambs and calves don't get any immunity transfer, passive transfer in the womb, and get it all through the first milk. And that first milk is colostrum, the liquid gold. It's why it's so important. It is the foundation of animal health. I'll never get sick of talking about colostrum because I think there's always room for improvement there. And if we think about colostrum, what's in colostrum? Well, there's immunity, this is immunoglobulins, so this is the memory, the proteins, these memory that the dam of the animal has built up over the lifetime, and they're going to transfer those immunoglobulins to the lamb or calf until they develop their own natural immunity over time. So immunity is key. It is twice the fat and proteins of normal milk. Again, nature doesn't do anything for no reason. It's like a metabolic fire starter for these lambs and calves to get them going. And the latest research over the last 5 to 10 years has been all about this early life programming, epigenetics, as I call it, the X factors in colostrum. All these special agents that are in colostrum in such huge volumes in comparison to normal milk. Why are they there? Relaxin, interleukins, insulin growth factor, all these things that are, why are these agents inside, why is this biology inside in colostrum? What's it doing? And that's really interesting research. So colostrum is key. So we all know about the immunity piece. We need to get that in, and we think about the 3 Qs. Quality of colostrum, so that's like down to feeding the dam. So typically your cow, she will brew that colostrum for 7 to 14 days for calving, typically in the last week. And you want the diet to be right energy, right protein for the cow or the ewe, really important. Quantity depends on lambs or calves, and I'll talk a bit about that. But one important thing is quickly. So these large immunoglobulins, large proteins, they have to pass across the gut, and the gut almost closes over after 6 to 12 hours. So you have a massive, that's absorption rate, and that's time, 24 hours. You have a massive drop off here in absorption rate. So really want to get colostrum in quickly into lambs and calves. And I think this is one we need to really improve on, and this is cleanliness. And it really applies, of course, when we're harvesting colostrum at dairy farms, but we can learn some lessons there on beef and dairy farms as well. So colostrum, absolutely key. What are these X factors, this epigenetics thing? I think if we think about our tube of our gut, and every gut has these, at a very cellular level, these little finger-like villi to really increase the absorption rate of the gut. They're not fully developed in calves and lambs. The colostrum is thought to play a role in that development, that early priming of the gut. The young calf's gut's not fully developed. Again, these factors may play a role in helping immunoglobulins absorb the gut development. So there's really, really key things in colostrum that helps. And I think it just goes to show that it's not just about immunity, it's not just about energy and protein, it's a whole more story. We're learning about colostrum all the time. So if I think about a suckler cow, how can I impact colostrum quality? Really, I suppose it's our pre-calving diet, energy and protein, really important. Get your milky cow. Again, quantity, so what quantity should a suckler calf get? I would say 3 litres, but some calves will get 2.5 litres. They probably won't drink 4 litres, some might drink 5, but I'm not making much sense there. But basically what I'm trying to say is that because a suckler calf doesn't require the same, or a suckler cow produces, because a suckler cow produces more, because a suckler cow produces a little bit less milk than a dairy cow, obviously, and a little bit less colostrum. That colostrum doesn't mean it's any less, the quality is any less poor. So, in fact, I think a suckler calf probably would aim to get at least 3 litres. But how would you know that in a suckler calf? So I was trying to research this. It said that to drink a litre of milk out of a suckling from a teat off a cow takes 15 to 20 minutes. And I think if you think about it, if you watch a calf doing it, that might make sense. When we typically think about a calf on a drinker, it's much faster, it's minutes, but on a teat it's slower. So watching calves, again, calves, sluggish calves, if a calf's had a hard calving, slow calving, heavy calving, they need to be tube colostrum, bottle fed colostrum. So we want calves to get minimal impact, cows calve on their own, calf get up, and from a cleanliness point of view, think about how dry and clean the udder is, because if a cow's udder and underbelly is wet, the calf will start to get up and it'll nuzzle at the belly and all the way along to the udder. It'll get, you know, most of its first feeds will be feces, and we want to keep cows as clean as possible just as they come up to calving time to keep that udder clean. Just something to think about. So that's beef. Pretty similar with sheep. The diet influences colostrum quality dramatically coming up to lambing time, about a week to 2 weeks out. We're aiming for 50 mils, 60 mils per kilo of colostrum per lamb. So 50 mils per kilo of colostrum for lambs. And you know, again, you're looking for your milkier ewes, keeping an eye out for those ewes with a good bag of colostrum. We want to watch triplets or any weaker lambs. They need more attention, and obviously you have a larger spread on colostrum, and that's why we go cross fostering. Again, if you can get a milky ewe and you can get any extra spare colostrum, always have some colostrum in the freezer. If not, you can use bovine colostrum. There's some good replacers out there. Some replacers are just are supplements where they just get protein energy. Just watch for immunoglobulins in any of your replacers. And I suppose again, pen hygiene with ewes is very, very important. So if I look at dairy cows, again, this is a whirlwind tour of colostrum, but it's absolute building block. Diet of the cow has a massive influence on first milk, 7 to 14 days out. It's the first milk, so if you think about a cow, the second time you milk her out, that's not colostrum, that's transition milk. And as well, if you calves in the evening time, you don't milk her in the morning, there could be deterioration in the quality of the colostrum in that udder, just remember that. We're aiming for 3 to 4 litres for a dairy calf, depending on body weight size. We need to do it quickly. Some farms will stomach tube colostrum to calves. Other farms will milk out the cow and bottle feed. I'm a fan of bottle feeding. I know I don't have to do it. I find the calves will go on to suckle on teats and easier teat fed trained after. That's only my own opinion. Again, if you're doing that, give colostrum warm. One area that I think we could improve on in dairy farms is cleanliness. Think about colostrum, it's fat and protein in it. Think about the bacteria in the environment, how they love to grow on that. It really is the perfect medium for bacterial growth. So for storing it, 24 to 48 hours in the fridge max. Using utensils that you're storing colostrum and buckets in, giving them a good clean with something like a detergent and cold water to get that slimy layer off, because it becomes a real area for growth of bacteria and can spread infections. So that's a thing I would say with dairy farms. We're doing a good job in here, but we need to do a better job in the cleanliness. Just if you're storing colostrum, a lot of farms will be storing colostrum, dairy farms. Just watch hygiene of the colostrum going in. Test all colostrum that's been stored. Anything over 25% goes into the freezer on a bricks. And just be careful defrosting it. If your hand can't go into the water, the colostrum shouldn't. The heat will denature the colostrum, and never microwave colostrum. All rules you've heard a million times before. I think the exciting things with colostrum are the X factors and the bit of improvement we need to do here. But generally we're improving. It is the foundation for animal health. I started working with Netics about 3 months ago, doing a lot of training and building calf health programs. And we were working with a huge number of veterinary practices around Ireland, and we just get into our rhythm, and here we are. Things always change. But anyway, one of the products that I was that they were launching into the market was Colostrum Gold. And the reason I was interested in Colostrum Gold is it was the first time I ever seen a replacer that was actual colostrum. It was just freeze dried. So colostrum harvested from cows, high health status cows, and the water taken out of it. And what interested me the most was all these little extra bits are in it, the X Factor stuff. So it really is a super replacer, and there's a little video in the article down below on the website about where that comes from. It's an interesting story. Okay, that's colostrum, absolute building block, foundation for animal health. I think just people keep working on that, keep the quality good, quantity quickly, and keep maybe an eye on the cleanliness piece as well. Again, I said I'd do a top for today. This is a long video. It's been a long day today, and I'm going to say this is my tip for today: do the simple things really well. I had a concept many years ago called be brilliant at the basics, and that's what it's about. Try and do the simple things well. Even in difficult times, just do the simple things well, time and time again, and it will pay off. That's it for today. Happy, safe farming.